Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. It's your girl also KK, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you guys how I usually would bleach my frontal knots. Let me just give you a quick PSA, you guys. I'm doing this intro on a very separate day from the day I actually filmed the video, so if I look like this and the next clip you guys see me looking a different way, don't judge me. But yeah, I'm going to show you guys a very detailed video on how I normally would bleach my frontal, the knots of my frontal. Yeah, so I just want you guys to sit tight, get a pen and paper, and enjoy. See you. Mwah. Let's get right into the video. So this particular video I want to be divided into 3 sections. I'm going to be talking about the products that I use, the techniques, and the results. In the product section, I actually wanted to make it as detailed as possible, and first of all put out a PSA that when it comes to bleaching the knot of your frontal or your closure, right? So the products I'm using right now, especially starting from the frontal, so this is the frontal we're going to be using to practice. It's from my hairline. It's our signature curly hair. As you guys can see, this is what the frontal looks like, and this is what the knots look like. See, the knots are pretty tiny, and that's what you want your knots to like. What you want your knots to be like. You're not going to be getting the same results if you're using a frontal that has really large knots. I'm going to put a picture of what a frontal with really large knots look like, and then the reason why that is going to be is because it will be really difficult for the bleach to bleach the knots, because the knots are going to be really thick and hard to penetrate. The products are going to be hard to penetrate into it. Yeah, so that's something very important to note in your frontal. So if you use this exact technique I'm going to show you and you don't get the exact results, it's probably because of a variety of things here, even down to the bleach and developer that I'm using. When I'm bleaching my knots and frontals, I love to use the Blondor product because I've found that it really works really well for me. If you're into bleaching knots and frontals, you would see that sometimes when you mix your products and you leave it, it oxidizes and the bleach starts to swell. I don't really get that much with this, so it gives me enough time, and it gives me enough time for the knot to actually bleach and for the product to work before it starts oxidizing. For the purple shampoo, really you can use any purple shampoo. This is not my favorite, but I've run out of the one I normally would use. I usually would use shimmer light shampoo, right, because it's more pigmented than this one, but this kind of works for me. You really need a bowl, like any bowl. This is not the bowl, professional bowl you guys are used to, but you guys, it works for me. And a brush to mix your bleach and developer. And if you've watched my previous video, you remember this stick. She's still with me and she's been getting the work done, and yeah, I'm still going to keep her. You also need like a scale. To be honest, normally I don't use this scale unless I'm bleaching like actual hair, but I think it's actually going to be kind of like beginner friendly. So if it's your first time bleaching closure and frontals, you probably would want to use a scale just so you're sure of the quantity of products that you'll be needing. And then finally, we're going to be using an aluminium foil. This is just to hasten up the processing time of our bleach. So that explains the whole product that I'm going to be using. Like I said, I think like the most important thing really is in your frontal. So just know that even outside the not being big in quotes, different hairs process differently, so it's possible that your hair just doesn't take bleach well. That's why it's not, the knots aren't bleaching, and it's not your fault, so don't beat yourself up about it. But if you want knots that bleach well, you guys, you can send me a DM to buy hairs from me. I do sell hairs, so this is an example of the hairs that I sell, and as you can see, the knots are pretty tiny all through the hair. The knots are pretty tiny all through. Some frontals, you see them, the beginning of the knot hair, the knots are tiny, and then when you look back into the hair, you start seeing like really chunky knots, and really those knots are almost impossible and very difficult to bleach. You probably would see that some bleach well and then some don't bleach well, but like I said, in my frontal, you guys, it's good. So that's for the products. Let's get into the technique. So for the technique, the first thing you're going to want to do is to turn on your scale, right, and put your bowl on top of the scale. As you guys can see, the scale brought out a measurement for the bowl because we are trying to get the content of our bleach, what you're supposed to do is then turn it off and on again. So you're going to wait, you have to get the scale to be at 0 with your bowl on top of it. I don't know if you guys understand what I'm saying, but never put products into the bowl if the scale doesn't read at 0, right? Because in that sense, you're going to be taking the measurement of both the bowl and the product, and we only need the measurement of the product. So that's why it's advisable for you to put the bowl first and then read it at 0 before you then add your product. So for the measurement, I'm going to be using, because it's a frontal and then we're going to be working with a lot of space, I'm going to be using 30 grams of bleach, as you guys can see. And then I'm going to be working with half of that, that's 15 grams of developer. So the total grams is supposed to read at 45, so that's 45 grams. When it's time to mix your bleach and developer, one thing I would really advise is that you try to mix it slowly, because if you mix it fast, you're introducing oxygen into the mixture, and that's going to make your product oxidize faster, and you won't get enough time for the product to work. So I'm going to be mixing it really slowly. When I'm mixing the bleach, I'm looking for a consistency that is thick but spreadable. So this is the consistency that we are looking to get. If you think that you're mixing it and it's not spreading like this, you can go ahead and add like tiny drops of more developer, just so you're able to get like a consistency that is thick. As you guys can see on my brush, I'm hitting it down, it's not falling down, but it's spreading well. Now you guys, this is the star of the show, and before we go ahead, just have to make sure that your frontal, all the hairs are lying down straight in the opposite direction, and there's no like any hair blocking the road. If you feel like your frontal hairs are all over the place, I advise you spray like a holding spray over it and comb it backwards, so like all the hairs can align in one direction, so that when you're bleaching the knot, you're not going to mistakenly bleach some strands of hair. So you guys, because I said I wanted to make this video as detailed as possible, I had to go get the holding spray to practicalize what I was saying. So I'm going to just spray and then brush the hairs backwards like this, so that they stay in place. So don't worry about it, because after you bleach your knot, obviously you're going to wash it out, so you'll be washing out the product as well. So next is to go in to bleach the frontal. I'm going to be using my spatula to bleach the frontal, and I'm going to be starting from the back. The reason I'm starting from the back is because, like I said, the knots at the back are usually more thicker than the ones in front, and they take more time to bleach. So that's why I'm starting from the back of the hair. And when I'm applying the bleach, I'm trying to like put in pressure as I'm putting in the bleach on the frontal, but not too much pressure that you're going to like have hair or bleach all over the hairs in front, but enough pressure to just kind of like cover the bleach, if you guys get what I'm saying. So yeah, just do this all over the hair, starting from the back. And also be careful not to just place the bleach on top of the lace and it's not getting into the knot, because that's what you find is that the knot won't bleach at all, because the bleach actually didn't get to the knot. It's just like bleaching hair, you guys, but because the knots are obviously a bit thicker than the hair, it's going to be hard for you to get to them. So just try and apply a little bit of pressure, but not too much. I know you guys are starting out to do the whole bleaching process. You might get a bit scared, but I think one thing that you can have in your head is just know that there's a way to fix it. So even if you get bleach all over your hair, there's you can easily go back into and then use like a dye or like mascara or something to tint the lace back to black. I think maybe that will help you to reduce the fear that you're having when you're bleaching the knot. So just go ahead and try, right, without having any fear of, you know, the what's happening, because really you can always get back from it, and then you know that you've tried and you can learn from your mistakes. Because I can't tell you that, yeah, after you bleach the knots, that you're not going to make any mistakes and everything is going to be perfect. I can't assure you that, but one thing I can assure you is that you wouldn't know if you don't try. So I'm going to be using this aluminium foil to cover up the lace, just like so. And then I'll flip it to over the other side. And one thing I always do is to ensure that my hair doesn't get to my lace. As you guys can see, I have some bleach on the hair, like really tiny streaks of bleach on the hair. So I just use my comb and comb out the hair like so, and comb out the hair like so to get any bleach that's on the hair out, so that I'm sure that it's just a knot. And you can also like open through to see what we are having. As you can see, the bleach is not on the hair, it's just on the knot. I'm going to set a timer for 15 minutes. I can't really say, okay, 15 minutes is the exact time it's going to take for the hair to process. But because, like I said, different hair process differently. So what I'll advise you do is set, like, you can set timers from like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. But just always come back to check the hair. Don't ever leave your knots and disappear. Because, like I said, and I've been singing it since, different hairs process differently. So you always have to keep an eye out to ensure that, yeah, your hair isn't over processing. And you guys, lastly, always wear gloves. Don't be like me, don't wear gloves. Always put on your gloves for protection. I'm going to go and wash off my hands now. As you guys can see, my time is up. I actually added extra 10 minutes to the process, and this is what we have here. And something else I also want you guys to take notice is that, can you see what the pressure I was applying did? It kind of like covered up the knots. So when you see parts like this where the knots are fully covered up, you rest assured that you're going to get better results, because like the knots are covered but it's not touching the hair. You just can't see the knots. And then there are some areas that I didn't apply that much pressure, so you can still see like bits of the tiny bit of the knot. Can you see the difference between here and here? Like really it's fine, but I'm just trying to say like the pressure really does help you cover the knots and just get the best result. So I'm going to go and rinse it off. Really it depends on you. If you know you want like to get like really nice and better results, you can still leave it to like bleach, because really the longer it stays, the more you're going to get the knot actually fully bleached. But like bleaching the knots is actually a process that kind of like damages your hair. So the longer you keep it, the weaker your knots is going to get, and it could cause your hair to shed, and we don't want that. So I'm just going to go bleach. I'm going to go and rinse off the So this is what the purple shampoo looks like. I told you guys that this is really not the best because it's not that pigmented. So you might not be getting the best results with this. But the bleach is already kind of blue, so it's going to help to tone out as much orange and yellow as possible that you get from that process. When you put the purple shampoo, you can also decide to leave it on for a bit, so you could just neutralize as much brassiness as possible from the hair. Take your time, because you really don't want to leave any bleach on the hair. It's going to damage. So next up, what I'm going to do is use conditioner. I'm using the Tresemme Rich Moisture conditioner. I'm going to use this on the hair because the bleach kind of like will take out some moisture from the hair, so I'm going to be adding that back using this conditioner, and I'm going to allow it sit for a bit so that, you know, we can get back as much moisture as possible from the hair that we kind of lost. And I'll then rinse it out and allow the hair to air dry. So you guys, this is the final look, and I don't know if you guys can see, but the knots, majority, like really 85% of the knots are bleached and the hair didn't get stained. The knot is still a little bit brassy just because of the choice of purple shampoo that I use, so I'm most likely going to have to still wash it off again with like a shimmer light shampoo. I'm going to be buying it and doing that later, but I just wanted to show you guys like how the knots look. This is what it looks like on my skin. Yeah, so thank you guys for watching, stopping by. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Maybe when I'm customizing the wig, plucking it and making the wig, I'll make it like a whole series and show you guys, put you guys through how I would transform this entire wig. Bye, see you guys later.